In the meantime, it is 10:45 right now. Around the time of night, we'd like to go live to someone to talk about one of the big issues of the day. That one includes the new lawsuit that challenges the White House's plan to provide student debt relief. Of course, President Biden announced a few weeks ago he was going to wipe out $10,000 worth of federal loans, but the group Pacific Legal Foundation says the plan will cause some people to have to pay more in state taxes. So let's break it down with Young Voices contributor Travis Nix, who's here. Travis, this has been a controversial issue for a lot of people for many different reasons here. But one of the things that we've seen is in certain states, not all of them, but certain states, there would be a state tax burden if you had that debt forgiven.
Yeah, so it's very traditional when part of U.S. tax for almost a century now that when you have a discharge of indebtedness, that creates a tax bill. Now, normally this would be at the federal level as well as state level. However, the Democrats in the American Rescue Plan eliminated the federal tax for discharge of indebtedness for student debt, but some states did not follow suit. So right now there's about 7 states, including the state of Indiana, where the plaintiff in this lawsuit is from, that is charging a state tax that would, in Indiana, it causes about he would have to pay about $700 in state tax due to this debt discharges. So he's claiming that this is an injury to him, which would then give him legal standing to sue that President Biden's executive order is unconstitutional.
So this is one case here, and to be fair, anybody who may find themselves in this boat who would qualify, it would not be smart at this point to just automatically assume that you would get that $10,000 or $20,000 back, because there are these lawsuits. There will be court challenges to this. There was a lot of talk on the federal level about whether or not the president had the authority to do this by way of executive order, which is the path that he chose here. This seems like this is one person doing that with the support of the Pacific Legal Foundation. This is taking a different tactic that I think many people assumed would play out here.
Yeah, because he needs to get into court. The problem with this act is many president actions that benefit a wide variety of people is you only have the ability to file a lawsuit if you suffer an injury. So general taxpayers like you and me cannot file suit over this, saying that, you know, this increases the deficit by $400 billion, which is what the CEO estimate is. We couldn't file a lawsuit saying that. You have to suffer concrete harm to yourself that is particularized to you. So this state tax move is very smart for him to file suit, because that's a clear financial injury that he is receiving. And in this lawsuit, he's saying he received no benefit at all from the student loan cancellation, because the plaintiff is a public service lawyer who in 4 years would have all his student debt, all his law school debt canceled immediately anyway. So all this does is accelerate his student loan debt cancellation, which would then cause him to pay a tax on it. And under the public service loan cancellation, he would not have to pay this tax.
Right. So there is I know, because once upon a time, I had a debt forgiven and I got a 1099-C, which you have to report on your taxes, which seems to be the case, although there would not be federal penalties. Again, it comes down to the state level. Travis, got to leave it at that. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Thank you so much for having me.